Welcome to a brand new episode of the Michele Tafoya podcast, and it's Wednesday, so that's Wildcard Wednesday. Great content today, and you're going to want to stay because the last one we're going to show you is priceless and important and so cool. Okay, hit that subscribe button. Please never miss an episode. Just click subscribe so you always get, hey, it's free. It's just going to show up in your little downloads if you hit subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Plus, we have a great catalog behind us as well. So we thank you for that. We appreciate all you who are subscribing. We love it. Okay, Wildcard Wednesday. If you don't know, I go through the internet so you don't have to. And I find a bunch of really interesting, cool, funny, stupid, scary, amazing stuff. We'll start with what is kind of a combination between really smart and really stupid. The stupid is Tim Walz. He's not in this clip. The smart is Victor Davis Hanson. Now, VDH, as many of us call him, is a conservative commentator, a military historian. He teaches at Stanford, and he's brilliant. So I guess he was asked what he thought of Tim Walz. Now, I don't know why Tim Walz's name keeps coming up. Maybe I hear he's running for governor again in Minnesota for a third term. Many of you know I live in Minnesota. I will fight very hard to make sure he's not elected if he, in fact, is running. But all of the exposure this man, Governor Tim Walz, has gotten since he was the vice presidential nominee has done nothing but damage him. I don't know why he keeps thinking he's on the rise. But if you don't take it from me, take it from the great Victor Davis Hanson. Roll it, Misty.
Tim Walz is a buffoon. I mean, when I first saw the guy, I thought, I'm not a picture of physicality, but this guy is 20 pounds too heavy. He's got a skin-tight hipster suit on with his high-water pants and his tight crotch, and his cuffs go up to his elbow, and he's frenetic. He's just a madman. He was jumping all around like he was Mick Jagger, and he was pointing at people, hey, you! He was just a buffoon. And then he was on the national scene a month, and then they found out, well, he lied about his military service. He lied about Tiananmen Square. He lied about his Chinese visits. He lied about everything. And then the next month it was, his wife said she opened the window so she could smell the scent of rioting and burning objects. And his daughter tipped off Antifa people that his dad was going to call in. And they were just a dysfunctional group. And then when he would try to talk, I felt, he used all these swear words to talk about Musk. And for a while he thought, I might be viable. There's nobody in the national stage, and I'm a left-wing guy, and maybe I can go out and just fill the vacuum as a vice president. And he went on there, say, January and February, and he started using expletives, A-H-O-L-E and S-H-I-T and all that stuff about Musk. And he said, he goes like this, and I go out there and I have a little app with Tesla, and it's going down, and I'm so happy. And everybody said, hello, you're a buffoon. Your state has a portfolio of stocks, and one of the largest and most lucrative stock the last decade has been Tesla, so you're rooting against the taxpayer. Oh, I am? Well, just forget that. I'm sorry. And then he went on TV and said, well, I guess I shouldn't be doing that. No, you shouldn't even be on the national scene. And they have to coach him. So I feel bad for him because what would he say? He can't tell the truth. He's not that bright. He's a buffoon. And
yes, I suppose.
He's there because of one reason. The only reason we know about him is that he was the only person that she interviewed that was dumber than she was and less articulate. And she knew that. So she thought, if I put Josh Shapiro on the ticket, oh my God. If I put Gretchen Whitmer on the ticket or any of these people, Amy Klobuchar, they're going to outshine me. This guy, I'm going to be Cicero compared to him.
Okay, a few things. I don't think Amy Klobuchar would have outshone Kamala. She would have looked smarter, more intelligent, for sure. But she's not really the most likable person in the world. But he's so right about Tim Walz being a buffoon. But he also, Victor Davis Hanson, used the term expletives instead of expletives. And I'm starting to wonder if I'm saying it wrong. Is it expletives or expletives? I'll try not to use any in this show so that we don't have to answer that question again. He just summed up Tim Walz in a couple of minutes in a way that should make Tim Walz never a viable candidate again. And now he just spent, the big scandal here in Minnesota is that he spent $430,000 of taxpayer money to prepare him for a congressional hearing that ended up going terribly. He's paid like lawyers and a legal firm to coach him to go appear before Congress, and it was $430,000. Fortunately, even the local media is now covering this. They did not delve into Tim Walz at all before, and now they have to, or they look really, really negligent. So things are great here in the state of Minnesota in terms of our politicians. It just keeps going downhill. Things should be looking up, however, in Pennsylvania. They had the Pennsylvania Energy and Innovation Summit earlier this week. And Mike Rowe, who is one of my favorite people, and I've never met him, and he's still one of my favorite people. I'd like to get him on this podcast. He is a guy who believes in hard work. He tells it straight. He understands that not all kids need to go to college. Not all kids should go to college. We're not all built the same. We don't all want the same things. See, that's kind of the thing about the elite left. They think you all want what they want. And it's just not true. You have to learn that, not everyone in the world is in a mirror looking back at you. They're not all you. They share different values. Well, so Mike Rowe was speaking at this Pennsylvania Energy and Innovation Summit, and he made some great observations. So let's roll it.
I'm rooting for President Trump, too. If he reshores and we reindustrialize, you're talking about 2 or 3 million jobs in manufacturing that currently don't exist. You probably have the numbers better than me, sir, but I think in China,
5 million. 5 million.
Okay, well, open jobs in manufacturing right now.
We've got to train them. We've have to train. That is fundamental. Every community college.
Yep.
Right? We've got to bring it back to high schools.
Yep.
Right? They've got to train. They've got to teach. They've got to show people that a great technician's job starts at $75,000, ends at $200,000.
That's right.
You don't need to go to college. You're working in the coolest factory in the world. HVAC is not fixing your air conditioning. It's a closed-loop system on the coolest technology system you've ever seen in your life.
Amen.
And the people who work in these factories.
He gets it. He absolutely gets it. Look, it's only a matter of national security, right? And I would say, you mentioned, I read 70, then I heard 90 billion. It's going to be 100 billion by the end of the day. A lot of money. A lot of money is going to come flying into this state. What I would propose, with all humility, is that somebody somewhere carve just a little sliver out of that, a fraction of a percent, and allocate it for better storytelling. Our country needs a national resource. Pennsylvania can lead this charge where any parent, any guidance counselor, any kid who is curious enough to explore the opportunities we're talking about can go to a destination and see people who look like them and talk like them and remind them of them prospering as a result of mastering a skill that's in demand. If we just dismiss that as PR, then we're just going to keep pushing the same rock up the same hill. I'm just here to say it doesn't take a ton, but it takes some, because a pretty good communicator's coming here this afternoon, I think, who understands the importance of getting the story right.
Yeah.
He's referring to the president, Donald Trump, who was going to show up and did show up at that same setting in Philadelphia or Pennsylvania. I think it was in Pittsburgh. But what he's saying is so critically important. I know a family, and in this family, there's a set of twin boys. They're fraternal. They're not identical. And these two twins have taken very different tracks. One went to college to study. The other one skipped college and became a phenomenal auto mechanic and is now just fully employed, living out of his parents'. He's not in his parents' home. He's doing great. And not to say that the other twin won't, But this is the point. You don't have to go to college to have a great life in this country. In particular, yes, if a lot of this manufacture is brought back to the United States, or to at least in countries that don't hate us, like China. Some sort of sliver of money, Mike Rowe says, for PR, for telling the story of what this is. Think about what colleges and universities spend. We're talking enormous sums of money to publicize their schools, to make videos about their schools, to plug their schools, to make those beautiful glossy things that they send to kids, the brochures, to tell the story of what they want this kid to feel when they're on campus. It's just not that tough. And he's right. If they're amassing all of this money for this innovation, this in Pennsylvania, use a little bit of it to tell the story, to bring attention to it, to bring young men and women from all walks of life into a great career. Many of us have been saying this for a long time, and that's one of the reasons I appreciate Mike Rowe so much, and I know so many people do. He's speaking truth, and he says it's a national security issue. It is. We want people to be prosperous, all people to be prosperous. Let's not make perfect the enemy of the good here. I wanted to show you that one, just as I want to show you this one. This is a very different perspective from Ken Langone. This is a man who is a giant in the American economy, a giant in business. And he was on Squawk Box on CNBC. And I think he may have surprised the anchor who was interviewing him, whom I'm not familiar with, when he said this. Roll it, Misty.
If I told you how bullish I was, you wouldn't believe it. I have never been more excited about the future of America than I am right now, right this minute, for a lot of reasons. Number one, like it or not, this guy's getting things done.
This guy meaning President Donald Trump?
Trump. He's a little pissed off at me because I had the audacity to say that on television about a few months ago that I was worried about it, if he won, that he'd engage in retribution. I'm happy to say I'm comfortable he's not doing that. He's acting presidential. I'm impressed with the people he's got around him. I had a nice chat with Kevin Warsh last week, and part of my positivity comes from my discussion with him. And you might have heard him on television. I think the American people are waking up. I think the world is a mess, but I think it's coming more to our direction than it was. I think that strike in Iran had significant symbolic meaning for the world, that America's here, and when our interests are at risk, we're going to do something about it.
What's important about that statement from a giant like Ken Langone is he's now given permission for other executives to agree with him. And maybe a critical mass of people saying, hey, could everyone just stop hyperventilating? And it's okay to feel good about the direction this country is going. And you notice he couched it. He said, whether you like it or not, the guy is getting stuff done. It's so funny how people don't want to say the name Trump as if it's Voldemort. And she said, you mean the president, Donald Trump? Yes. And he is getting stuff done, constantly getting stuff done. Every day is a busy news day because of what he's getting done. Now, I know a lot of people right now on both sides of the aisle have a big issue about these Epstein files and whether or not they're going to be made public and why suddenly is the Trump administration not wanting to release those. It's a valid question. It's a good question. But when it comes to money in your pocket, the economy, and inflation ticked up just a little bit this week, still not nearly where it was under the previous administration. So that's good. And we saw unemployment drop last reading. So all of these things are make this guy bullish. The guy's in his 80s and he said, I am more excited about America than I have ever been. That is quite a statement. So I wanted to show that to you so that all the other hyperbole you hear out there about things going wrong, things going badly, just know are some really smart, successful, experienced people who say that they like what they're seeing. They weren't totally sure at the beginning, but they like what they're seeing. I thought that was really worth your hearing and seeing. Byron Donalds is worth your hearing and seeing. He's in Florida. He's running for governor in Florida. He's been a congressman down there, has been close to the Trump administration. Now, it's interesting because Ron DeSantis, he can't run again. They have term limits. But his wife, Casey DeSantis, was thinking of running it. I don't think she's said one way or the other if she's going to. But Byron Donalds has said he's going to. He's in. He's in full campaign mode right now. And so he was at this Turning Point USA conference down in Tampa, Florida recently, just in the last few days. And he had a lot to say about the Democrat Party. Let's roll it.
But we have a simple phrase we tell some of my former compatriots from the state of New York. If you come here to Florida to be free, to have no state income tax, to live in a state where we want you to innovate, to be successful, where government's not in your way, if you come here, do not vote for the same stupid people in Florida. Don't vote for the same stupid people. These are the people who thought it was cool to let an auto pen run the White House. Let's not do that. These are the people who thought it was okay to open up our borders and let tens of millions of people in the United States. These are the people, and this is one of their bright ideas that actually didn't get adopted. These are the people who thought it was okay for the Treasury Department to spy in every one of your bank accounts if you spent more than $800 in a calendar year. That's how crazy the Democrats have gotten. This stuff is sick, and it's nuts. These are the people who believe in a central bank digital currency. These are the people who believe that just by raising more taxes and spending more money, that somehow we will all be prosperous. But because of all of your hard work over the last 2 years, the American people said, no, we don't want that mess anymore. We want common sense. We want freedom. We want liberty. We want Donald Trump. So keep Mamdani in New York, but it ain't coming to Florida.
Everyone's referencing Mamdani because, as you know, he's the Democrat nominee for the mayoral race in New York City, and he's calls himself a socialist Democrat, but really he's a Marxist, he's a communist, he's nothing democratic about him. So Byron Donalds makes some very good points, likes to point, and obviously he's speaking in front of a very favorable audience, a very friendly audience. But I think he hit a lot of things right on the head. So when you are in California and you hate what's happened, and you hate that homes aren't being rebuilt in Pacific Palisades and Altadena because the government isn't handing out permits like they promised they would, if you hate that Karen Bass is such a horrible mayor, if you don't like Gavin Newsom, don't come to Florida and vote for Democrats. And I hate to sort of villainize an entire party, but they've sort of done it to themselves. Their record has been awful. So if you move to Texas, South Carolina, Georgia, any of these places to get away from the nuttiness and absolute insanity of these politicians, don't then come and vote for Democrats. You're going to a place because you like the way it's governed. Let it stay that way. All right. Love telling you about my friends at besthotgrill.com. And I am telling you, if you're tired of constantly replacing your grill, you got a choice here. And it's with the Solaire infrared grill. So you're going to want to check out And go to besthotgrill.com to check this out. The super, super hot, fast Solaire infrared grills. So Solaire makes these truly amazing American grills. They heat up to 1,000 degrees, 1,000 degrees in 3 minutes. And that's even if you have it on your deck in the wintertime in Minnesota. Solaire infrared grills eliminate flare-ups and consistently make juicy, flavorful food. And I'm here to tell you, it is true. The Solaire infrared grills heat your food directly, not the air around the food like conventional grills do. Solaire has been making infrared grills for 20 years and has really dialed in the design. Experience the Solaire infrared grill firsthand with the Solaire demo rental program. You can try Solaire before you buy with the foods your family enjoys without a salesman breathing down your neck and see why Solaire is the last grill you will ever buy. Learn more at besthotgrill.com. Besthotgrill.com. Try before you buy with the Solaire demo rental program at besthotgrill.com. I can vouch for them, and they're made in America, which is awesome. We had Chloe Cole on this show a while ago. She is a young lady who transitioned, thought she was trans, transitioned to becoming a boy, had her breasts removed, did all the drugs and everything, and only to find out later it's not at all what she wanted. And so she is one of these sort of very vocal detransitioners trying to support other detransitioners and say, kids are too young to tell you that they think they're in the wrong body. She posted something today. There's a journalist out there from the Daily Wire. Her name is Mary Margaret Olohan. She's the White House correspondent for the Daily Wire. And it's interesting. She's definitely very conservative, probably even more so than yours truly. So the first part of her statement here is about abortion, but the second part is about this gender transitioning. Let's take a listen.
What's your area of expertise? What do you want to be focusing on every day? And I said, I want to cover abortion. And I could tell no one in the conservative space was reporting on it. The legacy reporters were all reporting on it. But you know what they would do? When they talked about a baby's heartbeat, they would say fetal cardiac activity. They might say embryonic pulsing. So they would rather promote abortion and use euphemisms to hide what they're talking about. And so I'd read these stories and I'd think, oh, we're using euphemisms on purpose. This is the whole point. We're trying to change the way people think about this. And I also noticed this on the gender front. If you guys have ever heard the phrase gender affirming care, there's a reason that sounds so weird and confusing and nebulous. It's supposed to. It's supposed to sound just nice, when in reality, it means transgender surgeries, hormones, and puberty blockers, even when we're talking about kids, which is not nice at all. But these activists want you to believe it is, and so they describe things in this way in order to deceive you.
She raises an excellent point. So I'm I call myself pro-choice, pro-life. I love babies, but I also believe there is a time in a woman's life when she should be able to make the choice as to whether or not she wants to keep a pregnancy. And I think it should be done early in the pregnancy. That's me. That's my opinion. And I'm not going to judge anybody else. But she's right about the euphemisms. Fetal cardiac activity, embryonic, I can't remember what the second part of that term was, embryonic vibrations to describe a baby's heartbeat. Now, it's really interesting. I think when animals become pregnant and these kids get excited for kittens or puppies, I think that if you saw a pregnant dog, you would say, oh, that dog's going to have puppies and, it's going to be awesome. But very often people look at humans, people who are very, very, I don't want to come up with a term for this. People who are so pro-abortion that they say things like, and I've seen this, I wish I'd had an abortion sometime in my life so I could relate to all of you if I had an abortion. I mean, so they use these euphemisms to make it sound very scientific and not human at all. Similarly, with the transgender stuff, they use the term gender affirming care. And there's a reason Chloe Cole, the detransitioning young woman, posted this. She knows her parents were told if you don't let her transition, she will likely kill herself. Gender affirming care. Terms like sex assigned at birth. No, who assigned it? That term sex assigned at birth presumes, I think erroneously, that someone said, I'm going to make you a boy. I'm going to make you a girl. Like it's assigned. It's so strange to me. No, you're born male or female. You have the chromosomes to prove it. XX or XY. So this gender affirming care, particularly for young people, is so dangerous. And I know there are lawsuits, and I think it's going to take lawsuits to get this crap to stop for young people. I really do. Young people in Canada can be buoyed by this guy who calls himself a Canadian dad. He's on X, and he has a big problem with the Canadian Prime Minister, Mark Carey, who you may recall beat out Pierre Poilievre, who was the conservative candidate who was really on a roll until Trump said, Canada, we want to make you the 51st state. So anyone conservative after that in Canada was like, oh my God, no. So they voted in this Mark Carney guy. Well, Canadian dad here had a couple things to say about the prime minister. Roll it, Misty.
The latest tariffs on steel and aluminum are unjustified. They're illegal. They're bad for American workers, bad for American industry, and of course for Canadian industry as well.
Trump puts 50% tariffs on steel and aluminum. And Mark Carney, Canada's brand new prime minister, who's already flopping harder than a dead fish, runs out screaming, illegal. Illegal? Based on what? His feelings? Newsflash, Mark. The U.S. president has the legal authority under Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act to impose tariffs if it's tied to national security. It's been used before, it's been tested, and it hasn't been struck down in court. So unless you've suddenly become an expert on U.S. constitutional law, you might want to calm down. Calling something illegal just because it doesn't fit your narrative isn't leadership, it's desperate political theater. It's the same tried and true tactic. Throw a dramatic word out there, get your media buddies to run with it, and hope no one digs deeper. But Canadians are smarter than that, Mark. This isn't about whether you like Trump or not. It's about facts. And the fact is, these tariffs are lawful under U.S. law. Carney just doesn't like them because they mess with his globalist playbook and PR game. And let's be real. If your plan as prime minister is to stand at a podium and whine every time another country puts their interests first, you're not ready for the job. Follow for more, because this country needs voices that won't fold under pressure. We ask questions, we don't follow blindly, and we don't take orders from Carney.
This guy is great. And this is a great example of how social media is used well. Citizen journalists, right? Someone who's going to call out a leader and say, you said this, but you're wrong. You're incorrect. And it happens on both sides, but that is a good use. And he had the documentation and the facts to prove it. So I applaud Canadian Dad. I followed him today after seeing that. Okay, we'll leave you with a couple of more lighthearted things. This one, though, may make you may not like me for playing this for you. But stick around for the last one, because the last one is golden. Okay, so Hank Johnson is a congressman out of Georgia. He once thought that Guam would tip over. And that was kind of his claim to fame. But maybe now he'll have a new claim to fame. And I'm not saying it because it's good fame. I don't want to necessarily say infamy. Let's just, Hank Johnson is not, I'm trying to think of who that other Hank country singer is, and I can't. But anyway, Hank Johnson is, roll it, Misty.
Congressman Hank Johnson coming to give you some more ear candy or perhaps an earache. But I'm going to do my best off of this Jason Isbell tune, Dreamsicle. Epstein died by suicide. Believe that and you must be blind. You've been telling us you released the file, but where are they? We've gone along with what's been told. You've had plenty of time, you're in control. But now you say you will withhold the Epstein file. Dreamsicle on a summer night in a folding armchair. Trump's howling at the moon. Release the Epstein file soon.
Epstein files, he says. Trump is howling at the moon. Release the Epstein files soon. Okay, so he said either ear candy or an earache. I'll let you decide which one describes your experience. I will not impose that on you. Finally, and I had this. This is great. This video. This guy's name is King Randall, and he runs a camp in Georgia to Georgia here, and it's a camp for young men who don't have male role models in their life. And he is totally self-funded. He takes no government funding. He's gotten a lot of donations, some from very famous people. And I had him on to talk about it, and we had a great interview, which you can find in the catalog if you subscribe for free. And he continues to walk the walk, which is trying to give these kids manners, purpose, education of all kinds, which this video will exemplify. In this video, he teaches all these young men, and he's got a son of his own, at least one, he might have two, how to do some work on an automobile for yourself. Roll it.
Now that I got the car where I want it, you understand me? Yes, sir. I got the car where I want it. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take this out of here, you understand? I'm gonna tighten this up and I'm gonna take this out. Why I'm taking this out?
Because.
Use your brain and tell me why I'm taking this out.
So nobody want to hear it.
Even though my jack stand will save me, I still want to make sure I have every opportunity to make sure that this car does not fall on me. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Or on us. You got that?
Yes, sir.
So now we about to go under the vehicle. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm back.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna go under the vehicle and I'm gonna show you guys what a drain plug is. The drain plug is what takes all the oil out of the car. You understand?
Yes, sir.
What is the drain plug?
Take all the oil out of the car.
These sockets to take the freaking drain plug off. You understand me?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. So all of these joints right here, look at this. All these are different size sockets, you understand?
Yes, sir.
When I figure out which one it is, I'm gonna pass the rest of them back to y'all and y'all put them back where they go, okay?
Yes, sir.
You see that number right there on the side? What that say?
17.
So where should it go down here?
17.
We got common sense, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. Stand by. This is my drain plug right here, you understand?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna take this socket right here and I'm gonna loosen this bolt and it's gonna let all that old oil out, you understand?
Yes, sir.
What is this called right here? This little white thing right here. What's that called? Remember, it's a black one I just showed y'all outside, but this one's white.
Oil filter.
Say it again?
Oil filter.
It's an oil filter, right?
Yes, sir.
Say it again?
Oil filter.
It's an oil filter, got it?
Yes, sir.
All you gotta do is grab that with your hand and untwist it, and it'll untwist by itself, you understand?
Yes, sir.
You remember the drain plug, guys?
Yes, sir.
The drain plug is right here, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push this oil pan back because it's pressure inside of here. So when I take this off, the oil is gonna shoot back, you understand? See that?
Yes, sir.
Anyway, great workshop, quick workshop. Oil changes never take that long. Of course, it took a while just trying to show them all what to do. Other than that, it's a very quick job and it's something they should know how to do just in case they fall on hard times or they need to make some money. They can go offer cheaper oil changes to people in the community so they don't have to go to the shops for it. So glad to be able to do this for these kids, and we're gonna continue doing these workshops. Probably for Mother's Day, we might get them all an oil change and like wash their car or something for Mother's Day. And I would love to see those kids participate with their moms and show their moms that they learn how to do something. That's what I'm happy about, and that gives kids confidence when they know how to do something with their hands, especially when they're not academically inclined or athletically inclined. They just want something to be able to show their parents just so they can be proud of them.
sort of speechless. It got emotional for me there because he has those kids trained to say yes, sir, every time that he addresses them. I've always loved that when you meet military kids. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. It's respectful. It's civil. It's courteous. There is nothing wrong with it. And you can't convince me otherwise. He had them repeat things back to him. I mean, it was just, he's out there really trying to do something. And you can follow him, King Randall the First, on X and see all of what he's doing. I wonder if once you start seeing more of this, if you don't try to donate to his organization, because it's truly doing great work. I wanted to leave you with that very up note today. I always end by saying, be brave and do good. And that guy, King Randall, was brave by saying, I'm going to tackle this. It's going to be really hard, but I'm going to do it. And to say that he's doing good, that's an understatement. All right, enjoy your Wednesday. We will see you next time. Hey, you can keep up with the Trump administration when you subscribe to the Trump Report. It's an email that brings you daily highlights from the Oval Office right to your inbox 5 days a week. Subscribe today at SalemPodcastNetwork.com/Trump.